you about Devil in the White City for Books and Beyond. This book is nonfiction, and when you read it, you will be surprised because the stories are quite bizarre. There's two stories running through the book. One is about the 1983 World's Fair in Chicago. They called it the Columbia Exposition. And the businessman and politicians that got started on it didn't have enough time, didn't have enough money, but somehow they managed to throw it together. So part of the book is about that. And then another part of the book is about a serial killer that was operating at the same time. One of the things that the city did in order to bring people to the exposition was to create new L lines, elevated train lines, that just went to the shore. And one of them ended where the serial killer built his boarding house. And the boarding house had things like a body-sized kiln in the basement and gas lines he could run into the rooms and then turn up. And he would marry young women that were there alone, came alone to see the city, and eventually they would disappear. And it took a long time to find him because he was the first designated serial killer, and one police officer chased him state to state when he had to leave Chicago. But he killed a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of children. Very bizarre story. Hard to believe that it's nonfiction. And then the exposition was pretty weird too, because if you go to Chicago in the Hyde Park neighborhood, you go to the beach and there's these like Roman remains of buildings, Roman architecture sort of crumbling. You wonder why they're there. And then there's the Museum of Science and Industry. All those buildings were built for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And it tells you about everything that the fair unleashed on the world. They had the first Ferris wheel, and the cars were the size of train cars. People were, lining up to be the first ones on that. I think I'd want to be the first one on it, but it was in Chicago for years and years, and it was the first Ferris wheel. And then they had the unleashed, let's see, what else? Zippers. Nobody had seen zippers before. Cracker Jacks, products, peoples, like they had Indians, they had Eskimos. It was wild. They brought in the architect, the landscape architect that designed Central Park in New York City. They brought him in and gave him a couple months to landscape the whole thing, which he didn't have time to do it, but he did a great job. So all in all, it worked out really, really well, and it produced a really good hunting ground for the serial killer. Great book. He's got another good book called Garden of the Beast. A reporter, he's the one that wrote the book, not a novelist, and he did all his research himself and used first sources, so it's very well researched. It's a great read. Hope you like it.